What is up, guys? I'm your host, Anson, and you are watching another episode of the Iron Obsession Podcast. As always, we are brought to you by Granite Nutrition and Iron Rebel Power Gear. So today, I wanted to do something different than what I planned on doing for the show. I'm thinking it's Friday. I just want to kind of do a weekly recap and breakdown of how my week was and what I did in the gym this week. And in a moment here, I'm going to pull up my Instagram and just kind of walk you guys through each of the workouts that I recorded this week. But first off, we'll just kind of talk about it. So this was a really, really good week for me. This was my first week on the plan with my new coach, Joseph Percher. Really, really good experience so far. The changes he's made to the diet, supplementation, training, everything has been awesome. I didn't realize how bad I felt until this week. I really needed to put on some extra body weight. I'm up about 8 pounds since the start of the plan. Fasted weight this morning was 223.8, and when I started with him, it was either 215 or 215.8, something like that. So 7 or 8 pounds, and I feel so much better. I guess, I'm still pretty lean. I actually had multiple people today ask me if I was getting ready for a show, which I find hilarious. But I'm still pretty lean, but I think I needed to put on some extra weight, and I'm sure that's what his plan was for me. Because I notice a stark contrast in how I feel and how I look. I'm way fuller and rounder. You can probably even see it on the webcam here. You'll see it in the training videos in a moment. And my performance in the gym is night and day better. And especially with Joseph helping me on the training specifically, I'm sending training videos to him every day. And he's breaking it all down, pointing out what I should or shouldn't do. And that's been amazing. I'm sore in every body part that I train the day after, which is new for me. I would occasionally get sore. My legs would normally get sore, but not the way they do now. So yeah, it's been a really good week of progress. The diet has been awesome. I went from eating 11 ounces of meat, 300 grams of rice, and then the rice would get lower and lower as the day went on, to now most of my meals are pretty much just 200 grams of meat, 300 grams of rice, and 4 rice cakes. And 2 of those have honey on the rice cakes. The other 2 do not, the 2 later in the day ones. My pre-workout meal is protein powder, 120 grams of cream of rice, and 150 grams of strawberries, 70 grams of blueberries. That is great. I turned that into pancakes. My intro workout went from, I think I was either at 40 or 50 grams of carbs intro workout. Now I'm at 60, I believe. I would need to look. But I think I'm at 60 for that. And post workout, I was doing whey, cream of rice, some rice cakes now, and pineapple. Now I'm doing whey, cream of rice, a bit more cream of rice, 7 rice cakes, honey, pineapple, and banana. That meal's awesome. The pineapple, the banana, the honey, all of it. It's great. I've never had honey in an off-season plan, and man, it's great. It's a really good carb source. It's a great way to get calories in. My calories got bumped up overall by about 1,000, I believe. I think I was doing around 5,000, 5,100. Now I believe I'm somewhere around 6,000, 6,100, something like that, depending on what vegetables, etc. But pretty close to 6,000 calories a day, basically. I think I'm at I don't remember the protein amount. It's 4 something. The carbs, I'm at 8 something, and fats are around 60 something. I say something and that I don't know exactly what the numbers are because I'm not messing with the diet. I have it written out what I'm supposed to eat. It's this grams of this ounces of this, and I'm just eating it. So I don't really care what my protein, carbs, and fats are. I'm doing what I'm told. I also salt all of my meals now. That's something that I was not doing before. I add 1.5 grams of pink salt to each of my meals. I've noticed that's been awesome for hydration as well, and for pumps in the gym. My pumps in the gym overall have been just stupid, almost too much, almost to the point where I might need to take some extra taurine because it's crazy. Overall in the gym, my volume has gone down exponentially. I've always been a pretty high volume trainer, but if I'm being honest with myself, a lot of that was junk volume looking back at it. My push day last week was every bit of 30, 35 sets. And I think my push day this week that we're going to watch in a moment, I think it's like 20 maybe. I think it's like right at 20 maybe. My pull days were always stupid volume, 35, 40 sets. I think my pull day now is like 22 sets. My leg days, same thing, stupid volume. I'd do 30 sets or more. And, that's including stuff like adductors. It was maybe 8 sets of actual like hard like leg press, hack squat. But both of my leg days now I think are like 15 and 18 if you count intensifiers. So volume is down across the board. And tomorrow's workout is arms and shoulders. I'm really excited for that. That's the only workout that I've not done on the plan yet, because we started last Saturday, but I had already done my second leg day, or my second upper body day, so I did legs that past Saturday. But now the split is legs on Monday, push on Tuesday, pull on Wednesday, rest on Thursday, legs again on Friday, and then arms and shoulders on Saturday, rest on Sunday. I was also doing a ton of cardio. I was doing stairs 7 days a week, hit every day, every bit of 30, 40 minutes, sometimes 60 minutes on the stairs every day. That got cut like crazy. I'm doing 25 minutes low intensity on upper body training days only, and then and also rest days. And then on upper body days only, I'm also doing 10 minutes of HIIT post-workout, which is great. I love HIIT cardio. That's why I was doing so much of it. And now on leg days, I'm only doing steps. I'll take a fasted walk in the morning towards that step count because Joseph said I could do that. And I enjoy doing that personally. So yeah, steps are staying pretty high though. There are some days where I'm 18,000 steps, but I have a minimum requirement of at least 12,000 steps, which I've had no problem meeting this week. I take 10-minute walks after every meal, so that in and of itself, that's like 6,000 steps by itself, and I'm pretty active. I'm constantly on my feet at the gym, whether I'm training clients or just taking out the trash, refilling the vending machine, just daily tasks that it takes to run a gym. You're on your feet pretty much all day. So water intake is about the same, 2 gallons, but my salt is a bit higher. Supplementation wise, I think everything's basically the same from what I remember. We removed metformin. That was one thing that we did do. I was taking 1,500 milligrams of metformin before bed, and we removed that just because it's not necessary. Retatrutide, which I am taking, that's going to do everything that metformin would do in the background and just be better. It's not going to have any catabolism like metformin potentially could have, whereas retatrutide could actually be a little anabolic. And everything compound wise is the exact same. I think that's pretty much all the X's and O's. Sleep is good. I'm also tracking my sleep now with him. Lowest I've gotten I think is like 7.5 hours this week. Highest I've gotten is 8.5 hours. I think that covers the basics. So let's get into the training now. I'm just gonna pull this up right here. All right, so now I'm gonna seeing this in live time, folks, because I sure ain't gonna edit this. Okay. All right, you'll just have to not see me for a moment. That'll be fine. All right, so this is my Instagram page. All of you guys, I'm sure, are familiar with that. So we got here incline dumbbell press. This was pretty good, but there's some stuff that I need to work on it. This was actually lighter than the set that I sent coach. And, the control here is not what it should be. I'm going to lower the weight a good bit next week and just really focus on control here. And instead of fully locking out, we're going to go to 3/4 and just pause, control. Overall, just make this lift look a lot better. I know that I can do better here, and that's going to be almost immediate improvement, which is nice. Ooh, I'm not super familiar with, oh, there we go. That's how you do it. I barely ever use Instagram on my desktop. This right here is the flat press for the day. He actually said we're going to move this to before the incline press, just because of the way the machine is loaded. Said this looked fine. I may try to go a bit heavier on this next week, or I may not. Just depends on how I feel the day, but I imagine I'll probably feel pretty good at the rate of progression I'm on right now. But not much to mention here, just 3 plates on the hammer. This is like my 4th movement for the day. The movement that I actually started with was this. This was my first movement of the day. Side lateral raises on the seated machine. We did 5 sets here. The pump was just ridiculous. Like this was crazy. I've never done 5 sets of laterals, 30 plus reps at the start of a push day, and I really liked it. It was a great way to start the day, but not much to comment on there. It's basically just pump work, but man, it felt amazing. This was the 2nd movement for the day. Just slow and controlled pec deck flies, nothing fancy. I believe there was nothing to change on these. I think these were fine, but yeah, just going to progress a little bit on these next week. Try to maybe add like 5 pounds and just get what I can from them. And then the next movement was this, which we talked about, and then this, which we talked about. And this is something I had never done before. A reverse banded Smith machine close grip bench press. This was really cool. It's hard to explain, but it feels like all triceps. You know, it doesn't feel like the chest is involved at all. And one of the things that he did tell me to do differently is we're going to pause off the chest. So like about 1 inch off of my chest. I won't touch my chest like I am here. We're going to pause there and just completely press with the triceps. I'm looking forward to that. It took me quite a while to figure out how to set up the reverse band. I ended up taking a chain to the top there and hooked that band to it. Yeah, that was a whole ordeal. But now that I figured it out, I'm sure that will be pretty seamless. Then we went on to, I believe this was the last exercise, Vulcan rope tricep extensions. So it told me to switch down to that lower handles, which I'm going to do next week. Only problem is with my height and with the cable stack set up there, I would have had to step away from the machine to not basically have the top end of the cable there hit the top of the rack, if you know what I mean. If you've ever used one of these machines, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So what we're going to do instead is I'm going to be down on my knees for this next week so that I can grab that lower end and still get a full range. And also, I just have to do a bit better job on fully extending. And basically going to treat this like a leg extension, how I do my leg extension. Super slow, negative, explosive right there. And then I'm going to keep more of a pause right there on the extension. So that covers push day, which was actually not my first workout of the week, but I'm going to cover both of the leg days after I cover the push and the pull days. So pull day. This was a really good workout. I'm going to start with the actual first movement. Basically, on my Instagram here, I label them kind of like in the ways of like what I think people want to see. You know, I figure something like a chest-supported T-bar row is going to be a bit more interesting to the average viewer than this right here, which is what we actually started with, the abduction machine. This was crazy. I only did, I think it was 3 sets for this, and my glutes were sore the next day. And like I mentioned earlier, I've done 30, 35, 40 set leg workouts and not had my glutes been sore. But with the rep range, the execution, everything on this, my glutes were sore the next day, which was crazy to me. This was awesome. And then the next movement that we did was actually the chest supported T-bar. We're actually going to swap out this just because, unfortunately, with this machine, you can't adjust the height of the platform. And for me, biomechanically, it's just not set up to be the best chest supported T-bar for me. It's a lot of forearms and biceps. So next week we are going to do chest supported dumbbell rows on an incline bench. But that being said, I did actually enjoy this movement a lot. But it absolutely did tax my forearms, especially. Not biceps so much, but my forearms were sore the next day, which when you're using Versa grips, your forearms probably shouldn't be sore for the most part. So that is a sign that needs to change so that I can get more back involvement and less forearm involvement. And then the next movement, was it this? I believe it was this. I believe it was the upper back pull down. Yeah, it was. So this right here, we did 3 sets. I believe it was like 12 to 15 reps, something like that. Maybe it was 10 to 15, but a lot of reps basically. This was great. I've always really, really loved lat pull downs. In my opinion, if you don't do lat pull downs of some type, you didn't do a back day. I think they're essential. But yeah, nothing much to note here. I got to change the camera angle on this so that we can see the angle of my elbows a bit better. Going to do it from the side, and that applies to all the exercises I'm about to show you. So then after that was the single arm cable row. These felt great. Super good connection with these on Wednesday when I did them. Just got to change that camera angle so the coach can see what I'm doing a bit better. Take a sip of water. But yeah, these felt great. I can definitely tell I'm going to be stronger on these next week. These were awesome as well. The pump here was just crazy. I've not been big on doing single arm work up until I discovered, the content that Coach Joseph Percher was putting out. And man, single arm work is awesome. The connection you get is just so much better. I've always had a pretty good connection to my back, but being able to split it unilaterally like this, it's even better. So, and then we did rear delts, reverse pec deck here. This was 30 plus rep sets, so tons of reps here. I think this was 3 sets. The pump was just ridiculous. Only exercise I needed to do for my rear delts, period. And then this was again. So like how we did 5 sets on the side laterals on Tuesday's push day, we did 5 sets on curls here, and that amount of volume in one exercise, I've never really done that before, and I like it. The pump and connection I was able to get and maintain in just doing that one exercise for that many sets was great. One thing I was told by coach is I'm going to just do one arm at a time next week and keep my body leaned so that I don't have to kind of jerk the weight around so much, just so we can have better control. But yeah, that's the push day. I felt super full after this day. Had been on the diet plan for I think like 3 or 4 days at that point, so the food was really starting to build up by then. All right, now let's go over Monday's leg day. So which exercise did we actually start with on Monday? Yeah. We started with the adduction machine on Monday. I corrected my form a bit on this, which you'll see in the second leg day. But I just needed to get a bit better range of motion here. But the pump I did get from this was still crazy. It was even better today, though. And then this, same thing. This was done on Monday instead of Wednesday. Same type of deal. 3 sets on this, I believe. Crazy pump. Just I love this machine. I've never really spent too much effort on this machine. I always put way more effort into my adductors than I did my abductors, machine-wise, and I'm really liking this machine. The connection that you can get, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but where I'm pointing at right here, the pump that you can get in this area of the glute is super unique. And then after that, I believe, it was leg extensions after that. The way that Coach Joseph has me doing these is just, it's it's borderline masochistic, and I love it. So basically we're exploding out of the hole and then taking a painful slow negative, like just as slow as I can bring myself to lower it while still squeezing and contracting. So we explode right here, hold, squeeze, and then slow negative. This is just insane. This way of doing the leg extension has made me fall in love with this exercise. I've never been a big fan of leg extensions, but the way I'm doing them now, it's one of my favorite leg exercises now. And I have a Hustler pad that's going to be coming in the mail soon that is going to help me get even more range of motion on this. So I'm super looking forward to that. And then the next exercise, I believe we went straight to leg press then. I could be wrong a little bit about the order, guys, but you get the point either way. So this was, I believe we did 2 sets here. I think one set was like 15 to 20, and then one set was like 20 to 30. This is, I can't tell if this is my lighter or my heavier set, but either way, it's a set of leg press that is just taken to failure, and I'm able to finally get some good range of motion here. I've always struggled with depth on squat, leg press, stuff like that, but JP helped me with this before he was even my coach. On Instagram, he just kind of gave me some advice on how to really just dig into this leg press, and man, the growth I've already seen in my legs just from a week or two of the technique change is crazy. This is by far my favorite leg exercise now, the leg press. Very close second would be hack squat, but leg press is definitely my favorite. It's a trial by fire. It's so much fun. The things that you can do on that leg press are crazy. All right, and this is my second favorite leg exercise. And this intensity technique, oh man, double drop set on the hack squat. This, I'm just going to be blunt, this shit sucked in the best way possible. So this hack squat that we have here is a strength core hack squat. It's a humbler machine. This is not a machine that you're going to be able to load up very heavy. So basically I got like two 45s on here essentially, 45 and two 25s. That's about as heavy as I can go for, I think my rep range here was like 12, 15, something like that. So basically I'm just going to go to failure here, and then my friend Ian here is going to help me get it back up off the rack, take a plate off, and then I'm going to go again. And we just go to failure again, and again we do that twice, double drop set. This was crazy levels of pain. I had never, ever done a drop set on a compound exercise like this. And as you see, the set is so long that Instagram actually cuts it off, which is fine. If you want to see the full versions of all of these, those are available on my TikTok, which I probably should be actually using here instead. And then after that, we did this. This was Pick Shark RDLs. I've got to play around with this one some. It's not the best belt squat. When you're actually using this machine as it's intended as a belt squat, it's okay. But unfortunately with this, if you can see my cursor again, you just have this bar here that is kind of in the way, unfortunately. But I'm going to play around with it some more. Either way, the pump and the connection here in the glutes and hamstrings was good enough to where it's worth the machine being a bit iffy. So, and then we finished up with seated hamstring curls. I was able to set my seat up in a way here to really get a pretty good range of motion. So I've never really been a big fan of seated hamstring curls. But doing them in this way, going lighter and having my seat a bit further back and just pressing into the machine, I quite like these actually. So it's an exercise that I've never really connected too well with, but after this week, I do enjoy it quite a bit much more. So. And then today, this was today's leg day. So first exercise here was Smith machine hip thrusts. So some form corrections that I was told here. I need to keep my chin tucked, and I need to keep my core braced because there was a lot of lower back in this. And I could tell my lower back was pumped to hell like crazy. And this was actually my lightest set of the day, but it was the one I got the best camera angle on. I did do a set of 3 plates for this, for my heaviest set, and I think I got 8 or 9 reps. This right here, I believe, is 16 reps or so. But yeah, even still with the improper form, the pump I got in my glutes was ridiculous. But also in my lower back, which, the form correction should get rid of that next week. So, and this is another one where, unfortunately, we're a bit limited by the machine here. So this is machine good mornings. And I still got to figure out really how to do these. I think the more I do them, the better I'm going to get at them and connecting with them. But I was still able to get a really good pump in my glutes and hamstrings here, especially on the lockout. So right here is a stretch, and then boom, you squeeze and contract really hard at the top. That felt great right there. The top part is where I'm really feeling it. I just got to kind of figure out how to connect more so on the negative here. But still really felt great on this exercise. Then the next movement was leg extensions. Same thing, same exact thing as the first leg day of the week. I got to be careful not to bounce on the bottom of the weight stack here. You're going to see me do that a few times, but the pump here was just stupid. Like my legs were already pumped before we got to this, but by the time we got done with this, my quads were just stupid pumped. And these are 20 plus reps. I think I got maybe 25 or 26 on this set, but that was great. And then the next exercise we did was the leg press. And this is a special kind of leg press today. This is which unfortunately Instagram is going to cut off, but this is a triple rest pause leg press. So I fixed my form a bit from Monday. I wasn't being explosive enough out of the bottom, and you can see now I'm a bit more explosive, but I'm still controlling my negative and explode. Control and explode. So that was a bit better. We were able to take it a bit closer to true failure. That's something I'm still learning. Yeah, this is going to be a bit more of a video podcast, guys. Sorry for any of the audio listeners out there. Hopefully I'm still giving you a good play-by-play. But yeah, this was great. So I think I got like 26 reps on this top set of leg press. And then I think it was like 14 on the second rest pause. And I think I got 6 or 7 on the last rest pause. So a rest pause is basically, I go to failure on that top set. Then I rest for about 20 seconds. And then I go to failure again. Rest for about 20 seconds. And then go to failure again. Brutal technique. Absolutely love it. That's probably my favorite intensifier is a rest pause. It's close between that and a drop set. So. And then the next exercise was lying hamstring curls. This is my preferred hamstring curl. A lot of people say they don't connect with the lying hamstring curl very well, but I've always got a really good connection. Maybe it's just this specific piece, but I love this thing. I treat it like a preacher curl. Basically just explode here and then control down. Except I guess you wouldn't do this much ROM on a preacher curl, but yeah. Just standard leg curls, nothing crazy, nothing to see here. This is a 6 to 12 reps of just brutal hamstring work. And then we finish out with the adductor again, and as you can see, I did fix my form a bit here. Got quite a bit more range of motion, just letting my hips flower out and really getting as wide as I can. I dropped the weight a little bit, but guys, we don't care about the weight. When the muscle grows, the weight will go with it, right? So we just, as I'm learning the more proper way to do things, I just got to kind of get out of my ego and not worry about the weight, which is fine. But yeah, form corrected on that. And then abductors again. So we do this machine 3 times a week. Glutes are a huge focus for me this off season. I think it was my only like direct weakness on stage. Everything needs to grow, of course, but the only thing that I could really point out and that I had pointed out by judges was just glutes. So yeah, same thing. No need to go over that again. And then I do want to look at today's posing pictures post-workout. So I felt full as a house today. And on my leg days, there is a little bit of Lantus and Novulin R involved. So that is, of course, going to attribute to fullness. But man, like, this was the first day where my weight had been going up a pound or 2 every day this week. This was the first day where my weight kind of stabilized, and I could tell. I also had some massage done work yesterday. Brittany Miller, awesome massage therapist. If you're in the Rocky Mount area, you definitely need to get her to work on you. That's my timer to eat, guys. So we got to wrap this up. But yes, I got some massage work done on me yesterday. Absolutely phenomenal. Definitely helped me have a better workout today. I'm going to try to do that every week, every other week. Yeah, big believer in deep tissue massage. So super full here in the front double. God, I suck at Instagram. For the desktop, I'm not used to this. And then the crazy thing to me too is I feel like just with the amount of fullness I was able to get in my glutes from the workout today, my glutes actually looked leaner today than they did on Wednesday, which is wild to me. Yeah. So the side leg is still hanging on. Still have lines everywhere. We're up. Let's do some quick math here. So I think I was 194 fasted on show day. Then I was 222.8 today, right? Or no, it was 223.8 today. That's right. So that's pretty much exactly 30 pounds up from show day. And I've still got glute lines. I've still got veins in my abs. I've still got veins all across my body, striations everywhere. I mean, it's been a crazy rebound, and we've got a couple more weeks planned for the rebound before we go into a cruise health phase here. So definitely more progress that can be made. Let's see, fasted 223.8. I mean, I could be well into the 230s by the time we go into that phase. I don't know. I'm just gonna follow the plan and do what I'm told. But I could see body weight getting up to around fasted 230, which is just crazy. I've never been this lean at this body weight before. My all-time high fasted body weight from last off season was, I believe, like 230. So we're already on track to just smash that out of the park. But yeah, I think that was everything I wanted to look at. Yeah, the vascularity here was nuts. And like all the lines in my legs are blurred just from how much blood there was in them. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything to go over for the week in terms of the Instagram there. Kind of little training recap. Yeah. So here we are, Friday night. This is the 15th of August. And yeah, I think I'm going to do these weekly recaps maybe every Saturday, every Friday. Saturdays could be a good idea because then I'll have my check-ins to go over. But I was driving home from the gym and I thought, you know what, maybe this would be a cool thing to do. Just a little recap of the week and show the workouts that I've done for the week. But going forward, probably we'll do these on Saturdays, now that I think of it. But yeah, I'm super, super excited to check in with Coach tomorrow. I've already had one check-in with him. We started Friday night, so I checked in that Saturday morning. But, in my eyes, tomorrow morning is like the real first check-in because it's a week of being on plan. Weight might be up more. Weight might be the same. I doubt it will be down. I've not lost any weight this week at any point. Weight has gone up by a pound or two every single day like clockwork. But, lines are still staying. Vascularity is still staying. It seems like good weight. Honestly, I've gained, 7 or 8 pounds, and condition is pretty much the same. Just a little bit extra water, but my sodium intake is higher, stuff like that. So carbs are also way higher. So that, I don't remember the exact equation, but there's a certain amount of grams of water that will be stored per gram of carb that you eat. So my carbs getting increased by like 200 or 300, plus my sodium getting increased substantially. Weight's going to come with that. And at the end of the day, this is the off season. It is my job now to get as big as humanly possible, to, as Coach Joe says, to add more human to my frame. That's the plan right now. So, wherever my weight ends up is where it ends up. Wherever my body fat ends up is where it ends up. So far, I'm staying pretty lean. And I'd like to stay pretty lean, but I'm just trusting in the plan, doing what I'm told. And so far, 1 week in, it's a hell of a lot better than what I was doing on my own. Because I was basically having to coach myself for the first 11 weeks of the rebound, unfortunately. But that's a whole other situation. So I think I'm going to wrap it up. Got to eat. Got to get meal 5, which is meal 6 technically because the way he labels it. But yeah, I'm going to go eat some beef and rice now, get some gains, then eat again in about 2 or 3 hours, and then get ready for bed and wake up and do check-ins. So I'll be posting about those most likely on my Instagram tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. This has been another episode of the Iron Obsession Podcast.